Oh, konnichiwa, everybody. I've just got back on Tuesday from a wonderful trip to Sri Lanka, my first ever, and I strongly recommend that country if you've never been. Anyway, uh, enough of that. I want to talk about rugby, and I've managed to get together a few things. There's a Japanese Rugby World Cup handbook with all the nations on it, and you've got a nice calendar inside. Match calendar. Whoops, like that. And here's another kind of what's it called? A handbook guide. It's a guide to watching the Rugby World Cup. Okay, in Japanese. I think this cost me 990 yen in the local bookshop. They were both together actually. Um, and yeah, as regards watching the World Cup, obviously I haven't been in France, so that's one thing. Um, but I did manage to see some of it on television while I was in Sri Lanka. So I saw, I think, through rather blurry eyes, I saw the second half of France New Zealand, 27-13 to France. I've got them all. I've got all the scores noted up here. There we are. You see that? And then on the 9th, Saturday last, Italy Namibia. I haven't seen that one. 52-8 to Italy. Ireland, Romania, 82-8. I saw some of that. I seem to remember. When I say I seem to remember, I wasn't drinking heavily. I was just a little bit tired at that time of day. Which is what? Well, Sri Lanka is 3.5 hours behind Japan, and Japan is what, 8 or 7 hours, is it, ahead of France. So there we are. I suppose it's 3.5 hours difference between France and Sri Lanka. But anyway, then we got Australia, Georgia, which again I haven't actually seen, 35-15, and we've got England, Argentina, 27-10, which I did watch, and I thought England did pretty well to get through. I think 70 minutes of the game with only 14 men after Curry was sent off for the head-on-head collision. Um, and yeah, fair enough to England. Well done. I don't quite understand what's going on with Argentina, by the way, because I would have thought, well, if it was my choice, I think I would have Matera as the captain. I don't know whether he's out of favor a little bit or what. I mean, he's in the team, and it seems to me he's the outstanding leader. And honestly, I don't even know the name or remember the name of the actual captain. So perhaps that says something. But okay, so well done, England. And then on the 10th, Japan against Chile, 42-12 to Japan, with Chile scoring the first try. And as I expected, they're full of passion and they played extremely hard. But obviously, this is their first time in the World Cup, Chile, and clearly they need to adjust to the level, which I think they can do. I'm sure they can do. They'll go away and think about things, and I think it's going to be very interesting seeing Chile play Argentina, for example, later on in the pool. And South Africa, Scotland, 18-3. Well, you have to give credit to Scotland's defence, and I think half-time it was 6-3 or something only. So obviously that was eminently winnable at that stage by Scotland, but they just don't seem to have the firepower in attack. I mean, the tremendous defence, but if you can't score any tries, you're in a bit of trouble winning a game, aren't you? I'm talking the most basic level, common sense, I would say. But anyway, it's certainly a lot better. The Scotland team is a lot better than I've seen in previous years. So let's hope they can. Well, I hope they can overturn Ireland for one thing. Okay. And then Wales, Fiji. That's an interesting one. 32-26. And I've just watched that today. I couldn't find this controversial incident where, is it Bhatia? What's his position? Is it prop? I'm not sure. Did not score a try. In other words, the referee had said it was a try, and then then Bhatia went to the referee and said, "I knocked it on," which I think is a little bit too sportsmanlike. I mean, I think he'd be best to leave that sort of decision to the referee. I mean, they've got a whole team of people, for goodness sake, to decide these things, and they're all a bit unemployed if you do it yourself, eh? Well, anyway, and then in other parts of the game, I know that the Fijian friends I have felt that the referee was against Fiji. So anyway, I think the lesson there is, well, what I would say is take your breaks when you can, and if the referee says you've scored a try, don't argue with him, for goodness sake, or don't offer an alternative reality or whatever. And although it was hailed as wonderful sportsmanship on all sides, I mean, you know, that was one where, obviously, from Fiji's point of view, it's one that got away. So, and Wales, well done, Wales. Although I think, did they get a man sent off? Is it Domachowski? Is that his name? I wasn't familiar, but who I think he was time wasting or something, which is irritating to say the least. And I'm sort of glad he got a yellow card for that. Okay, so what have we got? The next game is actually today, according to this calendar. It's France-Uruguay, but it's actually 3 in the morning in Japan time. So it's 3 in the morning on Friday. I won't be up at 3 in the morning, I can assure you. And I've more or less got over any jet lag I had from Sri Lanka, but I think I'll be recording that and watching it later. And then on the 15th, that's Friday, I'm not sure what time, but New Zealand, Namibia. Well, I should think New Zealand are going to be pretty keen to re-establish their authority after being after losing their first ever pool game against France at the first day. So that could be, we don't know, but it's possibly a cricket score. I don't know if it'll ever reach the level of 1995 when Japan lost to New Zealand by, was it 146 to 17? I think it was something of that nature. I think it's still a world record, but I wouldn't. It's probably a world record in the World Cup. Yes, certainly. I think Japan has actually beaten, was it Taiwan, probably by a greater margin, should we say, since then. And then on Saturday, we can look forward to Samoa, Chile, which will be very interesting. I don't know, it's probably the first time they've met. It certainly was Japan, Chile was the first time they played. And I rather hope that, shall we say, trans-Pacific games across the huge expanse of the Pacific will become quite normal between, Chile and Samoa and Japan, certainly, and Fiji, Tonga. Not least because I have personal connections with Chile. My mother was born there. I was born in Peru, by the way. And we've got Wales against Portugal. Well, I don't know. Portugal have done really well to get into the World Cup. I think it's their first time. But I can't see them overturning Wales unless Wales completely go to sleep on the day. And then Ireland, Tonga. Yeah, that will be probably quite intriguing. I'm not sure. Japan beat Tonga earlier this year by not a great margin, and it was only a try-saving tackle from Matsushima that actually ensured the win. Matsushima, the Kotaro, the fullback. But so that'll be a very interesting one. And then on Sunday, what have we got to look forward to? South Africa, Romania. Again, I can't see that as being a very close game, I'm afraid. Australia, Fiji. Now, that will be interesting. That will be very interesting. well, for one thing, Fiji have to sort of make up for what happened against Wales. I mean, they played really well, but they didn't win. So let's see if they can. They've got big men. They've got speed, of course, and the traditional Fijian handling. So why not? I can see it happening. And haha, the big one, as far as I'm concerned, England, Japan. So that'll be, again, fascinating. Because, well, I think Japan can win that one. And if you asked me before the World Cup began, I would have said, well, England's in real disarray. I think a lot of people would have said that. Although, respect to them for what they've achieved against Argentina. So bring it on, as they say. We'll see what happens. Kee-tah-kew-shoo, who's the one of the vice presidents of the JRFU, has said that he thinks Japan will beat England, and he's a very shrewd man. He's a former coach himself, and if he says so, I think that's worth listening to. Anyway, those are the upcoming games. So nothing for Scotland this weekend, it looks like. But anyway, I thought what I would also do, if I can share the screen, just a minute. I've got to find where the thing is. Where is it? Advanced and files. Oh yes, hang on. Content, portion of screen. No, that's not files. I think it might be. Oh, well, I was planning. I don't know if I can do this. I may have to. Hang on. Dropbox. No. Desktop. No, of course, desktop. So on the desktop, I've got Brave Blossoms. Excuse me, Brave Blossoms. And I've got some. Wait a minute. There we are. Oh yes. Well, these are from my wife, who I call Mrs. R, for obvious reasons. Hang on, let's put them in the right order, hopefully. These photographs are from a program about Japan's training camp before the World Cup. So it's August. And yeah, this is Urayasu Rugby Ground at 8 o'clock in the morning. And let's see, let's go through in order. Oops, there she is on the top of the television. Anyway, Abunai, this says, which means dangerous. I don't know what's dangerous, but perhaps my cat being on the top of the television is. And then, they're having some dinner here. What's this? 5 pieces of something or other. Thank you very much. It says below there. We've got these 2 commentators on the left and right here. You can probably recognize 1 or 2 of the people there. And let's see. Oh yeah, this was the original 46 squad that had to be cut down to 33. And yeah, this is cryotherapy. This thing. This man standing in this tube here. Minus 200 degrees centigrade, almost. And this is supposed to help you recover more quickly. I think other teams use this as well. I know Scotland have for many years. They went to Poland, they used to for that. And these are the 8 props from whom 6 were selected. And I think this chap and this chap, I forget their names, but they were not selected, and the other 6 were. Of course, Inagaki. I think this is the number of caps that each one has. Craig Miller has got 13 caps. And that's what's that? Gu, the Korean, got 25 caps, has he? Really interesting. Next one is the announcement of who will be in the squad on the 28th of August. And this one says it's an NHK program. It's called Kee-tah-kew-shoo, 100 Cameras. And it's focusing on the brave blossoms. And Raksen shita Yamanaka Senshi no comment. Yamanaka was not selected. He's the Kobe Steel player, who I think has been to 2 World Cups already, I think. I love the members of the national team, and I hope that they have no injuries and work hard to achieve good results. It's what he's saying. So he's taking his non-selection very well. And finally, yeah, this is the end of the program. So, and it was quite interesting to watch them go through all their weightlifting and the various exercises, and the mental coach and what have you, who was a foreigner, by the way, which was interesting in itself. Okay, well, I think that's about it. So I'm going to stop the share and wind it up here. So let's have a great weekend of rugby. Thanks very much. Bye.